Meet Yolanda Chiaca Royas. She's 14 years old. Yolanda is from a remote village called Chilama, high up in the Andes in southwest Bolivia. Yolanda's family own a small piece of land. They have lived there for many years and worked hard to make a home. But their land is barren and unforgiving. Growing food is a struggle. Often Yolanda's parents went without food so that the children could eat. But even then, all the children had was a handful of chunios, they're tiny dried potatoes, to share between them. Things were so bad that Yolanda's parents had to move to a nearby town to find work. Her mother travels back to see the children only once a week. And at just 14 years of age, Yolanda was forced to leave school to become the head of the house. At an age when young girls shouldn't have much to worry about, Yolanda was faced with the responsibility of looking after her younger brothers and sister, cooking, cleaning and farming their land. When asked how she felt about having to leave school, Yolanda said, "I miss all my friends, and when I see them going to school I feel like crying." But there is hope for Yolanda and her family. Trócaire has provided the family with a greenhouse, and Yolanda can now grow lettuce, parsley and onions, which has helped to improve the family's diet. Yolanda is also taking part in a small business scheme funded by Trócaire and is selling onions at the local market. With Trócaire's help and support, Yolanda's family is now back together, and her parents hope to make enough money to send her to school and to the friends she misses so much. Yolanda knows that an education is essential if she wants more opportunities in her life. Trócaire has worked in Bolivia for over 20 years. The way they work is by funding and supporting local partner organisations on the ground. These organisations are run by local people who understand the needs of each community and how to best meet those needs. Bolivia is the 28th largest country in the world and is twice the size of Spain. It has a population of 9.7 million. 2/3 of these live in urban areas. Bolivia's population has more than doubled over the last 40 years. It's a landlocked country and shares borders with Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, Chile and Peru. One half of the country sits high in the Andean plains and the other half lies in the Amazon basin and fertile tropical lowlands. Wealth is unequally distributed in Bolivia. 96% of the country's income goes to only 10% of the population. 3/4 of the country's fertile land is owned by 1/4 of 1% of the population. Bolivia is one of the poorest and least developed countries in South America. Poverty affects the quality of life of the majority of the population. 2/3 of Bolivians live in poverty. Poverty levels are particularly high among indigenous peoples and those of mixed indigenous and European origin, who make up 85% of the population. Climate change is having severe consequences for campesino, or peasant families in Bolivia. The highlands have been particularly affected by the changing climate. Droughts, out-of-season frosts, hailstorms and intense rainfall are now regular occurrences. The soil erosion and loss of crops that has followed is making the production of food for families like Yolanda's more and more difficult. Poverty affects people in varying ways. Women, children and indigenous groups are the people most affected by poverty and exclusion. They're the most vulnerable. Many families like Yolanda's do not have enough food for many months of the year. We call this food insecurity. Food insecurity can be caused by natural disasters such as drought or flood, or the land being unsuitable to grow food. Simon and his wife Asunciana live in the community of La Capilla in the southern highlands of Bolivia. The land here is greener and more fertile than where Yolanda lives, but life still holds many challenges. During the rainy season, the stony road into this community turns into a rapid running river and their house is totally cut off from the rest of the community. I make a list of what we need, tie it around a stone and wrap it in some plastic. Then throw it across the river in the hope that one of the neighbours picks it up on the other side. The neighbours will throw one end of a rope across to the family, who will tie this to a tree, and using a pulley system they will get the food across the river. The last 6 years have been really bad. During the dry season, drought has also become a problem and entire crops have been lost. Trócaire provided this family with a water tank. The water tank stores 30,000 litres of water, which Simon captures during the rainy season and uses to water crops during the dry season. My plants don't die as often as they used to because we now have plenty of water. I remember so many times when we didn't have enough to eat. I remember my children crying with the hunger. Now Simon can feed his family all year round. This is Angelina Lamachi. Angelina lives with her husband Alfredo and their daughters in the village of Macalea in North Bolivia, about 3 hours' journey from the capital La Paz. Life here is tough. The land is harsh and arid, and communities are badly affected by erratic weather conditions and a lack of water. There are no hospitals or shops in this community, and when Angelina was giving birth to her youngest daughter Daisy, it was Trocaire who brought a doctor to the house to deliver the baby. Even though life is difficult, Angelina and Alfredo have managed to make a living and a home for their family. They own a small plot of land and grow potatoes, beans and cereal. They're only able to grow enough to feed their family and have nothing left over to sell. Sometimes if the weather is bad, we don't have enough to eat. We are extremely hungry. There are times when Alfredo has to leave his family to travel to La Paz for work to make enough money to feed the family. Trocaire has been helping Angelina and Alfredo, who've been trained in organic food production and how to prevent the little water they have being wasted. This means that the family now has better harvests and they're able to grow food like carrots and cabbages. This has helped to provide them with a better diet. The most important thing for Angelina and Alfredo is that their daughters receive an education. The two older girls go to school in the village as well as helping their parents on the family plot. Angelina and Alfredo have to find the money to buy books and other school supplies for the girls, but the sacrifice is worth it to them. The road to Macalea is not an easy one to travel, but neither is the road to survival for Angelina and her family. With the help of Trocaire, the road is becoming a little smoother, and this family is well on the way to a better life. Trocaire helps families in the poorest parts of the world who live with hunger daily. Take part in the Trocaire fast this year by giving up food for 24 hours. Or give it up for Trocaire by giving up your iPod, MP3 player, computer or something you love and raise sponsorship from friends and family on the 4th and 5th of March 2010. The money you raise will help provide families like Yolanda's and Angelina's with the means to grow food. This will allow them to earn income and to look forward to a brighter, better future.